My name is Apokin Alexander. I am a general dentist. I welcome you on our Rubberdamology channel. Today I show you the next exercises to master Rubberdam technology in your clinical practice. We learn basic information about Brinker gingival retractors. This is a set of clamps. They look like clamps, but their main goal is to retract gingival margin around tooth cervical area. Let's start. Today we use some clamps and gingival retractors. First of all, we use basic education plastic model from company MedSkills, dental puncher from Sanctuary Dental, very useful, very handy instrument with a lot of holes for performing a lot of diameters for perforations in red latex plates. Clamp pillars from Dentage company, metal frame, and of course the best available at the market, Rubberdam plates from Nicton. For my exercises I'm using Nicton thin, and when you're working in practice, I think the best choice for working in cervical area with Rubberdam is the thin Rubberdam plates. The main aspect about gingival retractors, they have 5 designs from Brinker, the genius dentist that who invent them in the previous century. We have 5 designs, and I show you all of them. And 2 of them not opened from commercial pack, and some of them are from sterilized. Let's see them closer. Gingival retractor clamp B1. A clamp for molars. I place it on tooth 26 on my plastic model, without Rubberdam yet, just for testing and for your memory. B1 for molars, both lower jaw and upper jaw. Clamp gingival retractor B2. B2 have a different necks. One of them is smaller, left for palatal side, and one is bigger for vestibular. This is for premolars. I place it to premolar 25. Very good. Brinker B3, gingival retractor B3. It's the symmetrical clamp, is the same construction as a B2, but for right side of upper jaw or left side of lower jaw. I place it to the other side of my plastic model. Clamp gingival retractor B4. Invented for incisors, and I place it for incisor in my plastic model, but in future exercises we place it at the lower jaw, because at the first time Brinker Hunter decided to use it for isolation in the anterior lower incisors. But today all dentists decide that it's very handy to use it in any type of tooth, even in molars. And maybe in next exercises for advanced course, I show you clinical examples to use it in molars. Then clamp B5. I open it from a packet. It's manufactured by company Tor VM. All clamps in my exercises made by company Tor VM. And of course it's useful. It did not have holes for clamp pillars, and you must use small places for clamp pillar branches. Also useful to use it at the lateral incisors, both lower jaw and upper jaw, no matter for this type of clamps. Let's try to place it more correctly. Such way. What is the difference between B5 and clamp B4 for me? This is more stable. B5 is more stable clamp because it has two arcs. B4 is smaller. It's useful to use in clinical cases when we use simultaneously many tooth isolation in cervical area, and you did not have time to replace gingival retractors. And last clamp from Brinker is B6. Very small difference between clamp B5 and B6. B6 is much massive, and I think it's more useful to work at the upper teeth, not the lower teeth, but clamp B5 is for lower teeth. I think that it in full set of Brinker retractors for clinical use must include additional clamp B4, because very many clinical situations when we need more than one Brinker at the same time. In my clinical room I have more than 10 Brinkers only for B40 type of clamps. I placed two Brinkers B4 at this position. It's very handy. And of course clamps Brinkers cannot work without anchor clamp. In this exercise I use clamp W3 as an anchor clamp, and I place it to my model for you remember it. Don't forget to use anchor clamps in distal position to hold all tension of rubber dam, and it did not affect to arch of Brinker gingival retractor. Let's place all these clamps to model with the rubber dam plate and see how it works. I remove all clamps from my model and we start to make perforations in rubber dam plate and set up isolation. Open the pack with Nicton rubber dam plates. As in previous exercises, I explained you that it have two different quality of surface. Outer surface for clinical work, inner surface for mouth. If you interest, look for our previous exercises. Place this angle of rubber dam to your fingertip, cover with the angle and free part of up left angle of metal frame, small tense the right side and repeat it for bottom angles, left and right. Then hold with the other hand your frame and correctly fix your free angle, first angle with that we start of your rubber dam. Your rubber dam frame is ready. Equal small tension of rubber dam. Don't use fixation during your making perforations of mesial retainers. You don't need it. You just waste time to detach them for start clinical isolation. Let's start to isolation from tooth, maybe from 6 to 6, from 16 to 26. When we can use it in our clinic? When we fix very many adhesive ceramic veneers and we need access to premolars from both sides. And in this case, you can use molars for fix anchor clamps. For anchor clamp, I'm using wingless clamp for molar. First of all, let's test fixation of this anchor clamp. Don't forget to use it during clinical application, because if you have unstable position of your anchor clamp, you lose your time to remake this all work again. After performing infiltration anesthesia from both sides, if you have very round side of tooth, and if it possible, place this clamp in the space between gingival margin and equator. After that, check stability from the mouth side. Okay? Then check stability of clamps. I decide that maybe we use not so long isolation for the first lesson about Brinkers, but try to isolate maybe 3 tooths for working in cervical area. Let's start to checking stability of Brinkers. In some cases, our Brinkers cannot be placed because our even wingless clamps blocked one clamp to place correctly. If you receive such situation, remove it and place anchor clamp one tooth distally if it's present, and then test stability of Brinker again. This is much better. The next Brinker will placed in different situation. If you're working only with 2 tooths, let's place him to tooth 24. It's enough space to work with the both tooths in cervical area. But if you have also a fraction of canine at the left side, you need additional clamp placed on the canine with the arc turned to mesial side. And in this case, you can use clamp B5 if you can place it. I can. In such plastic model I can. This is good for me, but I lose SS to canine and to premolar. Maybe I start my work with this surface and this is enough for me. Then when I finish tooth 24, I remove this retractor and continue to work with this tooth. But today, 1 hour before, I made such clinical work on the lower jaw and I record small movie for you. And I use 3 Brinker clamps. Let's check how it works. I take additional Brinker with sterile part. Open it. And I place additional Brinker. Now we only check stability, that all our Brinkers work together good and did not affect one of them to each other. It's work. Let's see in different angles. All right. We can start isolation. Remove all clamps. Test is good. In some cases, maybe you want to replace clamps if one of them placed unstable. In my case, the third Brinker is unstable for this tooth. I try to replace it with another one. Better, but the same result. Maybe in final isolation I replace them, change them. Oh, this is not good for me. If you have such situation in your mouth, you can remove this clamp. Such way. Sometimes it happens. Don't be afraid. Sometimes it's stable if you change the angle. In such position, it's unstable. If you rotate it, it's better. But you must search for optimal position at the occlusal surface. Let's try to see difference of position. Potentially unstable position. But in some cases, this position is more useful. It's individually for your patients. Check different positions for your clamp. Remove all clamps. Start performing perforations in Rubberdam plate. But if you check stability and all right, you can did not remove the last anchor clamp. You save some time for your work. Starting to work. In real clinic life, I did not touch with my Rubberdam patient mouth until my perforations are made and ready for applications. But during our exercise you can touch and see where you must make perforations. For your memory, we never made perforations in latex plate at the upper third of Rubberdam plate because we needed space to cover upper lip and filtrum.